What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is Tyler Weeb from Pro Physique, and today we're going to talk about muscle confusion and how often should you switch things up. Alright, welcome back, everybody. I hope you are all having a fantastic week so far. Doing it is whatever you are doing. Man, the holiday season is just flying by. Baking some holiday cookies this weekend with some friends. Super excited because who doesn't love holiday cookies? I mean, I don't think anyone I know doesn't like holiday cookies or Christmas cookies, whatever. But today, I wanted to talk about something that was pretty popular quite a few years ago, but I still find permeates a lot of my conversations with clients and in regards with programming. And that is the idea behind muscle confusion / always changing things up. So a few years ago, the idea of muscle confusion or always changing things up was quite popular. Now this could have jumped from, we are constantly changing things on a week-to-week basis, every other week, every 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But the idea was that you should not do the same thing for longer than 6 weeks or you will stop making gains, right? The body will become so adapted to whatever it is you're doing that it's just going to stop building new muscle. And this also kind of came to chasing soreness, right? Like we should always be sore because being sore means that muscle is being broken down and then therefore we are building muscle, right? And so the idea of program hopping, never doing the same thing for 6 weeks was quite popular. And it makes sense on the surface, but now we know that, soreness doesn't necessarily mean always building new muscle. And it also comes down to finding that fine line between what works and still having interest in the gym. I think a big part of it was that people would lose interest after 6 weeks of kind of maybe doing the same thing and just kind of go do something else or stop going to the gym at all. So it was a way for people to go, okay, like we're constantly changing things up. I'm constantly doing new things, and so therefore I'm building muscle, I'm having fun. Well, how often should we actually change things up? Is it a very kind of interesting question. And again, like I said, a fine line between doing continually what works, but still having that mental stimulation in the gym where you do look forward to going to the gym. And so this is a conversation I've had to have with clients like, hey, well, this 6 weeks kind of looks like the last 6 weeks. Well, we actually don't really want to change a lot, right? We don't want to go in a completely 180 degree, every 6 weeks. The body actually really loves consistency and adaptation, right? When you're sore, or if you're constantly changing things up, you're actually not going to be able to build volume and build strength in, let's say, said lift. So let's take back squats, for example, right? We are programmed back squats into your program, right? So you're hitting certain sets and reps, blah, blah, blah. Well, if we go, 6 weeks of back squat and then 6 weeks of leg press, we never actually really gave our body a lot of time to adapt and to actually get really strong at back squats. And so then, we're just completely changing the volume. We're still working the same muscles, but we're not actually giving the body a chance to build over time. And so now we know that, total volume over time is going to be king when it comes to hypertrophy and strength. And if we're constantly switching up and constantly having to start, let's say ground zero, right? Let's say we started off squats 135, we built up to 225 in 6 weeks, and then we drop all the way back down. Well, now we're doing hack squats, and we drop all the way to 135 on hack squats. That's completely dropping volume, and we're not actually building towards something, right? We're just having to start anew each and every time that we switch things up. Now, that being said, we still need to keep that mental stimulation. And so still switching out some exercises for maybe something different, but we're still in that same plane of movement is probably going to be okay. Again, it shouldn't be done a ton. I think there are some, appropriate ways to go about, switching, here's an exercise, let's switch these out here and here just to make sure that we are still getting that mental stimulation, but we're still training the exact same muscle at roughly the same amount of volume. Now, there are some better ways to go about maybe, changing it up that is actually going to benefit you more. So things like adding in extra sets, adding in extra reps, increasing the weight of a certain exercise over time. You could do some drop sets. We could do some giant sets where you do, 20, 15, 10, 12, 10. I think I said that wrong. I think I meant 20, 15, 12, 10. And then that way we can actually build volume over time. But the problem is with that is that not everyone just loves doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. For me, I don't necessarily have that much of an issue with it. I have done the exact same program coming up on 13 weeks now. Not a single thing has changed other than sets have increased, reps have increased. Maybe a couple exercises have been added in, but what I've been able to do is I've been able to really build my volume over these 13 weeks. And the volume week by week, block by block, has slowly increased. And then that's how we actually really make solid, concrete progress, is by getting really good at what we're doing and not changing it up too much. Like I said, it is a fine balance between the two. How often should we switch it up? You could probably get away every 6-8 weeks. You can switch out a few exercises. Again, I always try and listen to my clients, like, hey, I would really like to switch some things up. I'm just getting bored. Yeah, okay, let's do it. I'm not gonna go, no, you can't do this because we're gonna stop making progress. You can still make progress, but you just have to be cautious of how much you switch things up. Maybe unsexy, maybe boring at times. It's not always going to be fun, but it's what works. And you know what is sexy and you know what is fun is results. So find the balance between the two, communicate with your coach, and listen to them. They're gonna know what's going on and what is going to try and give you the best recommendations. Okay guys, that's gonna be everything for today. I appreciate all of you who are watching. If you enjoy the content, please hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions that you would like to see answered in future videos, make sure to leave that down below or send me a message. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, guys.